Hello, how are you doing, my kings and queens? I'm your host. What I would like to say is actions speak louder than words. So when you think that yelling is sufficient, um, you haven't even touched the iceberg. You sometimes 50% of the time you can get the students to do what you want them to do if you raise your voice, but it doesn't always work, especially with those difficult, defiant, or stubborn students. So that's why I say actions speak louder than words, which means you have to discipline them, be the disciplinarian, you have to be the counselor, you have to be the teacher because it takes one or two students to make there be chaos and confusion. It could take one student to cause a ruckus in the classroom. So please don't let the one student control the classroom. Please don't be intimidated or scared of that student. What you do is you are yelling or raising your voice. You're giving them a warning of what you want them to do. If they don't comply, then you write their name on the list. Next, you put the scholars on the computer on the chat. Then the ISC or the D's of students will deal with it from there. But don't let that one, two, or three students give you a hard time for 45, 50 minutes, or even an hour and a half, because it's not fair to the students. It's not fair to you. You're cheating the students out of a good education. You're cheating yourself out of a quality teaching experience. So turn it lose into win-win. You gotta make them respect you as they respect the other adults. You gotta make them respect you. Don't make them respect who they want to respect. Because then that's not fair to you. You are smart. You're intelligent. You have a lot to offer at the schools. Don't think that uh, you just can only get along with the good students and have a hard time with the difficult students. Even if the difficult students listen to you every once in a blue moon, you did your job as an educator. So please don't get discouraged. Please don't get upset. I know it can be frustrating. I know it can be annoying. Especially if the students listen to certain teachers or certain adults, but not to you. You got to make them listen to you. It may take, and the quicker you do this, the better off you get. Even if you had to address a student or discipline the student, write their name on the board or put it in the chat, into the classroom, so be it. Even if you had to do it for a week, the class would know what you expect. You are raising your expectations from them, believe it or not. If you just yell and don't do anything, then that yell doesn't mean anything. You're doing vain yelling or vanity yelling, where you are raising your voice and wasting your voice. Raising your voice is wasting your voice when you don't do anything about it. So that's why I say, I'd rather you be calm and discipline the student a minute or 30 seconds in the classroom. You have to, if you see the students drawing stuff, pencils, papers, and they don't listen or follow your basic directions or instructions, you have to write them and put them in the chat, put them in the referral ASAP, because your career's on the line, your check is on the line. If you keep letting the same thing happen, then they go to the parents, and the parents want to have a meeting with you. Another thing too is if the students fight over the line, especially if one of the tough or difficult students cut the other student in line, you could say, "How about you both share the lines, or you take turns? You could go, you could be line leader on the first floor, the other student be line leader on the second floor. You be the line leader on the first floor again. Deal." And if the student's still giving you a hard time, then after you work with them and they not work with you, you can put them in a chat, because you try to accommodate them, but they still want what they want, when they want, how they want it. Now, if a student puts their hand on another student because the other student had bumped into them, it could have been an accident. I say, I understand you are upset and frustrated that student bumped into you. Maybe it could have been an accident. Maybe the student could have said, "Excuse me," but you have to keep your hands to yourself. Don't put your hands on the student. You let me know if I don't do anything about it. Then, if you feel the need to defend yourself, but as a last resort, now you got to really word it though, because the students they hang on to every word. So you got to word it smart. Once again, you say, I understand it's annoying and frustrating that student bumped into you. They could have said, "Excuse me, I get it, but it was probably an accident. Next time, please put your hands to yourself and let me know, and I'll deal with it. If I can't deal with it, then you go to another disciplinarian who could deal with it better than me." Once again, uh, And don't be afraid if the students say they don't care. The students who typically say they don't care about the most. They care the most. They're the most sensitive, even the most difficult or hardcore students. 50% of the time, the students say they don't care. Uh, they really don't mean it. They just say it out of anger or frustration. They just try. What I'm basically telling you to do is not to care about the students, or don't take the students when they say they don't care seriously. If you take it too seriously, they got you. If you drop everything, if you had to drop the class every time the student says they don't care, it's the same thing as you hearing them whining, hearing them cry, hearing them tattletale. So treat I don't care as tattletale. As they say, snitches get stitches, snitches get stitches. You can say, I don't care is a fairy tale. That's what you can say. You can say it to your head. So treat as you say they don't care as a fairy tale. Now, when you treat students, the time to treat students saying they don't care seriously is if they're about to fight or do something that they might regret. That's when you could pull a minute or two aside to heed to the student's need. But if you do so 100% of the time, then don't let them control you. Don't let them take advantage. But if they're really emotional, if they're crying, if they're upset, if they're about to fight, then you hear what they have to say. Therefore, the students will respond to your teaching better, respond to you better as an educator if you do something about it quick. Do something quick. If you take a long time, then you're wasting your power, you're wasting your energy, you're wasting your resource. So the most resourceful is those who do something real quick about it. If a student's drawing stuff, drawing paper, drawing pencils, being out their seats without your permission, uh, you have to write them up, put them in a referral within seconds or minutes. That's how they're going to respect you. It may take a couple of tries. Sometimes 21 days is a habit. It might take you 21 days for the habit, but it'll be worth it. They'll know what to expect. Oh, the teacher get upset. The teacher raises her voice. You know what's next? The teacher is about to do the referral or about to chat us up. Let us calm down. So you are raising your expectations and raising the respect from the students towards you. See, treat it similar to Bret Hart moves of doom, where you could have the five moves of rules, if that makes sense, or five rules of school. That makes sense. Five rules of schools. If you tell them several times, then you get them three three warnings, so you can get them three rules of school. If they break the three rules, then you write them up, you refer them, do whatever you need to do to get them to respect you, to get them to honor you and obey you. And you probably know what to do. You're just scared to do it because you think it's not going to work. But I ask you to try it ASAP now before it's too late so you won't regret it. You know you have to discipline the students. You know you have to write them up. You know you have to chat them up. You know you have to put them in a referral. You know you have to put them in the computer. You know you have to take points. Please don't be afraid of doing it. This is important. This is imperative. Don't listen to fear. Don't listen to saying by making the students saying they don't care have more power than you care. Don't let fear or Satan think that you can't control the kids, that one or two or three kids that always talk back to you, thinking that they are more powerful than you, that they're better than you, that they're smarter than you. That they're not. They are very intelligent. Don't get me wrong. They have bright futures, but you are the leader. Don't let the others. Don't let the students think otherwise, because if you are scared of them, they're sensitive. They'll pick on it. They'll take advantage. They'll eat you up, chew you out. Then I don't want you to have redundant uh, meetings with the principal or the other teachers or the students' parents by controlling the kids or controlling the class better. That's unnecessary. You're bigger than that. You're beyond that. Only time I want you to have a meeting with the principal is if you get a raise or promotion or if your teacher out of month. That's the only time you need to have a meeting with the principal. Not the principal will tell you stuff that you already know you have to do or know what's expected of you. So please don't listen to the fear or Satan by thinking that you can't do this. You can do all things in Christ Jesus who strengthens you. It's going to take a couple of tries, and it may not be overnight, but it could be worth it. And you could be a smooth operator. Maybe not the first month or second month, but maybe before Christmas or before Thanksgiving. So give yourself a chance to establish rapport with even the tough kids, the difficult kids. And you know what? Knowing their name, that's what's going to be your best friend too. That's what's going to help you establish the rapport quicker. So try to know the student's name too. I know you might have 5 classes or 6 classes where uh, you feel that you have to know all the students' name, but once you know all their names, then that's where you establish their trust too, and it shows that you respect them and you care about them. They still might give you a tough time, but not as much. So learn and know their names, and try not to call the difficult student's name out too, because then they'll get defensive. If they're doing silly stuff, or if they're about to do something dangerous, okay, but not every little thing. Maybe try to call their names 3 times. If they don't listen to their name after the third time, then you write them up. It's plain and simple. Don't repeat yourself. That's when you are losing power and wasting your time. Rather, you repeat your discipline instead of repeat your voice. Practice, repeat the discipline, which means practice being a disciplinarian instead of wasting your voice. Remember, when you raise your voice, you waste your voice when you don't do anything about it. I think I said this before, it's worth saying again. What you could do is if the student is about to get upset or explode, you could say, please don't do volcano, please don't do lava where you explode. Do the fireplace, do the stove, do the oven where you could control, where you self control. Because when you do volcano and lava and you explode, you lose control. So let's gain control. It's your choice. You could do volcano, lava where you explode to lose control, or you could do the fireplace, the oven, or the stove where you gain control. It's up to you. It's your call. And once again, the students, if you confront the students and call them out, remember the students don't like to be told what to do, so they're going to use I don't care as a cap off, especially if you do something wrong and they act as if you're right is wrong and they're wrong is right. Don't let them manipulate you or gaslight you. Act as if you don't know what you're talking about. Act as if you don't know what you do. So if they say they don't care, when you call them out on hitting a student, uh, for example, let's say, um, please keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. Say, I don't care. You shouldn't have hit me, or he, she shouldn't hit me. He shouldn't hit me. You say, I don't care. Is not the teacher. I am. I said you keep your hands to yourself. I know that the student might annoy you or got on your nerves, but you tell me if I can't do something about it. I'd rather you go to another adult or disciplinarian instead of putting your hands on somebody. You put your hands as a very last resort. You got it? You understand? You got to talk with conviction. You have to follow through. See, that's why the students are not taking you seriously. You got to keep on following through. You stay on them. You rather be on them, not you want to stay on them mentally, emotionally, instead of being on you. You got it. You got to be 3 to 10 steps ahead of those tough or difficult students. You have to. Okay, you said, I don't care, it's not going to get you out of trouble. I don't care, it's not going to bail you out of trouble. I care will. So it's your choice. I care is a choice. I don't care is the consequences. Which one do you choose? And you can say that too. There's a lot of ways you could word the students say they don't care. Remember, it's paradoxical and tension. Where you embrace the students say they don't care. Because when the students say they don't care, it's hit or miss. I know it's borderline disrespectful, but you can fix it. Don't think that you always have to. In other words, students, I don't think students should be suspended for saying that they don't care. They just expressing how they feel in the moment. And that's another thing too. Remember what I told you. Please don't treat I don't care seriously, because it's just another way of the students going into their feelings instead of using their logic. So that's where you can control the situation. Don't let the students say they don't care. Control the situation, because they just go by their feelings, by their emotions. See, you gotta go by your logic as a teacher more so than ever. Your you care is the logic. The students say they don't care is the feeling, is the emotion at this moment. Don't let it uh, dwindle or dwell or drag um, into the next period or for days, weeks, months, or the whole school year. That's unnecessary. It can last for a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes tops. Then you can continue on with your lesson, with your class. I'm basically saying instead of being passive with the students saying they don't care about being Mr. Nice Guy, be passionate with I don't care about being Mr. Assertive or Mrs. Assertive. You have to. That's the only way they're going to respect you. It's going to take some practice, but you'll get there sooner than later. Slowly but surely. Slow and steady wins the race. I think I said everything I need to say. Thanks for listening. Please have a blessed day. See you later, my kings and queens. I'm your host, King. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. God bless.